This is a video about what I did to modify this Porsche to perform better. These are the parts that I used to modify this. I'm using this Racer Star MG90S micro servo for the steering. The ESC is a Surpass Hobby 60 amp brushed ESC. I replaced the motor with this Latrax 370 sized brushed motor. And I'm using a standard RC light kit in the body. For power, I'm using this 9.6 volt nickel metal hydride battery. And I'm using a tack-on controller and receiver. So those are all the parts I used in this modification. Now for a closer look at the modifications. I put the servo in where the original steering motor was. I've carved out a space for the servo and then reused the original part that held the motor in to hold the servo in place. Then I made a hole in that white piece and just ran the servo arm down in there to make it turn. It was easy to put the new motor in since it was basically the same size as the old motor. The new motor fit very well in there, so I was able to reuse the original piece that holds the motor in place to keep the new motor in place as well. In order to replace the motor, I did need to have access to the gearbox, but that was easy to get to. Just had to remove this top piece here. It's just held in place by 4 screws. The gearbox is basically in 2 pieces, a left side and a right side, held in place by 3 screws, but those were easy to access in order to take apart the gearbox and take out the original motor. I did reuse the original pinion gear. It was one of these brass type gears that just snug fit onto the motor, so I was able to pry that off the original motor and then just put it on the new motor. For the front lights, I did have to drill a hole in order to get the bulbs in there. For the rear lights, I just aimed the bulbs towards those rectangle openings, and then the light just shines through those 2 areas. I did have to carve an opening into the interior in order to fit the ESC and receiver when the car is put together. I also cut away the top of the battery tray, so when the car is put back together, I can access everything from underneath the car. Okay, here's how everything fits in here. I can access everything through the battery tray. I just put the ESC into that opening into the interior, as well as put the receiver in there. And then once all that's stuffed in there, then there's plenty of room for the battery. I decided to modify this one first because it wasn't in as good a shape. It's missing a mirror. The rear wing was broken off and missing. As you can see here, this has the complete wing. There's also a crack in the front window. This one also had some scrapes and scuffs. There's a couple good scuff marks above the rear wheels on this side, as well as some scrapes and scuffs above the rear wheel on that side. I also peeled off the stickers since most of them were starting to peel up. I thought it would just give it a different look. However, I do think it does look better with the original stickers on there, like on this nicer one here. So whenever I do modify the nicer one, I'll just probably leave that as original as possible. Overall, I'm pretty satisfied how well this car performs now. Thanks for watching.